Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a lovely midweek. It's gone a little bit colder now, we're in October. But anyway, I'm going to jump into the video and let's get started. Just a bit of background if you don't know who I am and the reasons why I'm doing this video and why I think it's beneficial. I'm 29 years old and me and my husband Sam bought 1930s property 2 years ago. Yeah, so we literally bought this house off an old couple that died, and before that we had no understanding of property. None of us are like building backgrounds, we're both nurses, so we had no idea about property, building, anything like that, damp, plastering. We had no work-based background like that, so we was very naive, and we jumped into a renovation for our first property. Instead of buying a property that was finished, we decided we was going to do one ourselves. So at that point we was very naive when we bought the house to what actually needed doing and how much money and everything we'd need to put into it. And at that time in my life, in our lives, at that point, I just wish this video was out for me, and I could take it on board. So I thought, I don't want anyone to make the same mistakes we have, or I would like to fill information for other buyers or other first-time renovators. I'd like you to know this information so you don't make the same mistakes we did. I've got my notepad and I wrote down 5 things these 5 things are things that I wish I knew 2 years ago when we bought this property. So number one is the time. If you're like me and, you know, typical woman, wanted to buy the house and then within 2 months it'd be done, we'd have everything brand new, all nice new things, and it would be livable. That's what was going off in my head. Must be known that it doesn't work like that. You've got to be patient with the time and understanding with the time. So the time scale of buying a renovation property obviously depends on how bad the renovation is. This one was pretty bad and it needed gutting, so I wasn't aware of that at the time, and obviously builders and delays and things like that set it back even more. So if you're a first-time buyer and you're looking for a quick fix, I would avoid buying a renovation property. We've had this property 2 years in November this year and it's still not finished. We've still got the doors on from when we bought the place. We've still not got a bathroom, the garden's not finished, and it's 2 years later. So things do take time, especially if you're working full time, you've got children. So that would be my first number one thing to take on board, is things take time and nothing's gonna be an overnight thing, and you've just got to be patient and be appreciative of what's happening now. So my number 2 thing, what I wish somebody would have told me, and this is probably the biggest one out of all 5 reasons, is money. You need a lot of money to renovate a property, and I wouldn't say it's not even like the materialistic side of things, it's literally all the building work, all the things that go on behind closed doors that you would necessarily know about. When we first looked at this property, we took our parents round just to view it with us, and it was like, you need to put a lot of money into this property if you buy it. And I seen that it was fully furnished at the time, carpeted, and I was like, that's not true. Like literally we need probably about £10,000 just to lick a paint, new kitchen, new doors, new furniture, and it'd be done. That absolutely was not the case. And when we actually bought the house, every room needed replastering. Every carpet had wee on it. Stairs wasn't meeting building regulations, so we needed brand new stairs, which I wasn't aware about. The front door, if you've seen in the actual renovation video, which I'll link at the bottom if you do want to see it, how this property did look at the start, there was a glass screen front door in the porch that was like single glazed, very unsafe to like burglars, and winter there was a draft, and we lived with that front door for a year. which was very unsafe now looking back, but we didn't have the money because we didn't think about these things. Year one, we'd spent over like 25,000 on the property and it wasn't even half finished. That was just like all underlying things like rewiring, new boiler, replastering, just everything that you don't think about, or if you don't know, like you're not from a building background, you wouldn't think about them when you're looking at property. So yeah, the first year we'd spent about £25,000 on the property and we'd really not even chipped away at what we had to do. Me and Sam have never had any, people have never given us any money. We've done it all on our own and we've worked for every penny and saved for every penny. So where some people could just get it done, we had to work 6 months and then get it done. So the money side of things, I would recommend, if you don't have the money to renovate a property, I wouldn't recommend doing it because it's a very slippery slope. It's very mentally draining. Living in a house that isn't complete or is like a building site is very mentally draining when you don't have the funds but you want to do things to it. So I would say if you're not prepared to wait with the time, because the time scale is like 2 to 3 years for someone who's working class, and the money aspect, if you don't have the money, then don't do it. Looking back now, it's been very, very, very draining to renovate this house. Thank God we're nearly finished. Yeah, so that's my number 2. Number 3, I wish somebody told me this as well, is that you need to be motivated and have the patience to put the effort in. If you're not prepared to get stuck in and get hands-on, then I wouldn't recommend getting a renovation. Especially for me and Sam, we had to live here while we was renovating. We didn't have another property while we were doing here. We lived here. We lived in the back room, I remember, on a mattress with boxes all around us and the walls cracking, but we was just happy that we owned a piece of brick. But yeah, anyway, the effort, I would say you've got to have effort and motivation. It is very mentally and physically draining. Some nights we'd do a full shift, come home, and then we'd be wallpapering or painting or glossing, or just, I remember the first days when we bought this house, it was so draining, but we had to put that effort in. We worked literally day and night, and obviously it's paid off now. But looking back, would I have bought this property if I knew the first 3, which is time, money and effort? All honesty, I don't know if I would have. It's been very, very hard work. So if you're not prepared to be patient and persistent and motivated with the effort that you put into the property, because yes, you can hire builders, but the majority of the work is through you as a couple, doing all the nitty-gritty painting bits and scraping all the wallpaper off and things like that. It is mostly you. So if you are not very motivated and don't have much effort and just want to chill after work, go and buy a property that's finished and don't renovate. Trust me on that one. So the next one, number 4, I was very naive. This is the one that I was probably most naive to, and it never even entered my brain when I was looking around this house or when I purchased it. But it's the setbacks that you're gonna have, especially when you're, you know, saving up for months for a certain job in the house. Like the flooring in the living room, it cost us £600. It took us months to save that £600. You know, we worked really hard for it and put it in our savings, but there were certain setbacks. When the wood flooring was down, it wasn't done proper around the fireplace, and now that had all chipped away and damaged, if you want to call it. So all that £600 that we paid, it didn't look as nice because we had a setback because the fitter didn't do it correctly. So we had to go and get another fitter to fix that, and that was more money and another setback. So when you buy a house, you don't think I'm going to have setbacks, but you will, especially when having a renovation project. You're going to have setbacks, especially if you don't know your worksmen. Luckily enough for us, we had family friends and people who we'd known for a long time, who had done people who we'd known, and they were quite good worksmen, luckily enough for us. But if we didn't have that opportunity, then we would have just probably gone on Facebook and grabbed the nearest tradesman on there. My mum would always say, buy cheap, buy twice. That's one thing with the setbacks. How to avoid setbacks is definitely don't go for the cheapest tradesman, because he may do a good job, but he probably won't do a good job, and then you'll have to get it done again by a proper tradesman, so you're paying double, and that's another setback which you're just not prepared for. An example of the setback we had was with our stairs. Our stairs were custom made. I was pregnant at the time, and they was being ordered by this company, and I think it was around Christmas, so there was delays. The stairs didn't arrive in time, and we wasn't prepared for that, and the stairs that were up at the time were appropriate, especially for me being pregnant. So that was a big setback. We've had so many in the house, but yeah. So number 4 for me would be, please be prepared to have setbacks in the property. And then with the setbacks, I'm going to put into number 5, it's the hidden costs. So this one is a biggie, also on par with probably money and time, basically all of them. But it's the hidden costs that you don't think about when you're buying a house. You don't think that when you're buying a house, oh, I need new guttering because they're cast iron and they're hanging off and they need to be plastic. And to add to that, one of our hidden costs that we weren't expecting was we was only going for a partial plumbing system. I've literally forgot the word now because I'm speaking so much, but basically the plumbing system of the house, we thought we'd only need it half done. And then halfway through, the plumber was like, showed me pipes that had been burst and tried like welded back together. It turns out in the end we needed a full new plumbing system, new boiler, the lot, so that cost us an extra couple of grand than we thought. It was a hidden cost we weren't expecting and it wasn't budgeted for. So things like that you'd need to take into consideration. My advice would be, if you are buying a renovation house, try to have money aside for things that might show up. It's always good to have a bit of extra money in the bank for things like that. But yeah, so to wrap this video up, which I hope you have enjoyed, it's just to basically say them 5 things, which are time, money, effort, setbacks and hidden costs. All 5 of them things I would say to definitely take into account before you even go looking at a renovation property. Make sure you're prepared for a long time scale, you've got money in the bank, you're prepared for hidden costs and you've got money put away for that. You're prepared for setbacks just in case of pipe bursts or you need an extra plumbing system like we did. Just be prepared for things like that. We wasn't prepared. I was very naive, first time buyer, no building experience, and neither had Sam, and we thought we was just going to swan into this house and it'd be done. It just needed a bit of paint, which was not the case. 2 years later, it's still not finished and we still are saving for per thing per time, but we'll get there in the end. And I'm glad that you're all watching the videos and enjoying my renovation series. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. If you got to the end of it, thank you very much, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. I've got some really exciting videos coming up in the next couple of weeks, because we've got things going on in the house. I know I always say that, but we have, it's the truth. And then next week, stay tuned because we're going to a Halloween farm with Arthur, which I'm really excited about because autumn's my favourite time of year. So yeah, stay tuned for that and I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys, love yous.